On Wednesday, October 1st, the bold and the beautiful ramps up the emotional tension as old flames flicker. Alliances shift, and the weight of the past collides with the uncertainty of the future. The drama unfolds with a mix of heartbreak, hope, and unexpected interruptions, pushing each character into deeper personal turmoil, particularly Hope Logan, who finds herself at a painful crossroads between the love she once had and the stability she's been trying to build. The day begins with Hope Logan engaging in a heartfelt conversation with her mother, Brooke Logan, on the Forrester rooftop. Brooke, always attuned to her daughter's emotional state, senses the struggle Hope is trying to hide. She knows her daughter is still reeling from her feelings for Liam Spencer, despite the apparent peace and growing closeness she shares with Carter Walton. Brooke reminds Hope that she doesn't have to rush into anything, but ultimately, the decision has to come from Hope's heart. Hope's conflict isn't just emotional, it's visceral. The rooftop becomes more than a scenic backdrop. It turns into a place of memory, where the past resurfaces with startling clarity. As she looks out over the city, a memory strikes her like a lightning bolt. The moment she learned baby Beth was alive. That rooftop revelation had once shattered and remade her world in an instant. It was the moment her family, which had been ripped from her, began to come back together. That rooftop wasn't just a place, it was the setting for rebirth. She had clutched Beth in her arms for the first time in months, overwhelmed by the truth and the promise of a new beginning with Liam. The memory of that night, of Liam's arms around both of them, of the tears they shed together, comes rushing back. That moment symbolized a family restored. And for Hope, it's a painful reminder of what once was, what could still be. As Hope reflects, her thoughts swirl. Can she turn her back on the deep love she once shared with Liam? Or should she honor the commitment she's begun to build with Carter? Carter represents something safe and stable, loyalty, calm, and dependability. He believes in her, both as a woman and as a designer. He's been championing her vision to revive hope for the future, throwing his energy into relaunching the brand that once defined her independent spirit. Later in the day, Carter seeks Hope out. He's excited. He's been making moves behind the scenes, rallying Forrester executives and pitching potential collaborations to breathe new life into the brand. His face lights up as he talks about strategy, growth, and their shared dream. But Hope's smile is forced. His enthusiasm only deepens her inner conflict. He wants a future with her, not just professionally, but personally. Hope knows he deserves honesty. And yet, she's not ready to give him the answer he wants. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the Forrester mansion, a lighter moment unfolds. Liam Spencer spends time with Beth, their daughter whose bond with him remains unshakable. She's dressed for the special event planned for the evening, a father-daughter dance at sunset. Beth, full of excitement, insists on rehearsing their moves in the living room. Laughter bubbles as they spin and stumble, the father-daughter duo relishing the time together. But their joyful moment is cut short when Ivy Forrester makes an unexpected entrance. Ivy's sudden appearance draws a subtle line through the room's warmth. It's not hostile, but it's definitely intrusive. Beth, perceptive and bright beyond her years, senses a shift. She eyes Ivy with cautious curiosity, wondering if this woman's return means more than a friendly drop-in. Her instincts kick in. Could Ivy be flirting with her dad? Beth isn't one to stay quiet about what she feels. She later confides to her mother that while Ivy seems nice enough, she doesn't want anyone coming between her parents. She even draws a parallel between Ivy and Carter, not in terms of their personalities, but in the way she sees them as outsiders to the family unit she longs to see whole again. Carter's nice, she admits. But he's not daddy, and Ivy's not you. It's a child's simple truth that cuts deeper than any adult realization. But Ivy isn't here to interfere. In fact, once Beth is ushered away to finish getting ready for the dance, Ivy takes the opportunity to talk privately with Liam. Her tone is sincere, and her message is clear: fight for what matters. Ivy knows Liam still loves Hope, even if he's tried to bury it. She encourages him to stop letting guilt or fear hold him back. If he believes in a future with hope, he needs to step up and claim it. She reminds him that time is precious, and the window to reclaim lost love can close quickly if left unguarded. Liam listens. He doesn't speak much at first, but his silence speaks volumes. Ivy's words hit their mark, not as manipulation, but as a reminder that sometimes you have to risk everything to get everything. She's not pushing an agenda, she's giving him permission to hope again. Back on the rooftop, Hope returns alone. The weight of the day hangs heavy. Her mind is a battlefield, Carter's quiet strength versus Liam's irreplaceable past. She thinks of Beth, of her daughter's eyes lighting up at the thought of her parents back together. She thinks of Carter's dedication. She thinks of that night on the rooftop, the moment her daughter was returned to her and Liam. Every breath, every memory, every choice has led her here. Brooke rejoins her briefly, sensing her turmoil. She says little, only offering a hug and the reminder that Hope must listen to what her heart is trying to say. Beneath the noise, the guilt, the pressure, just the truth. Then she quietly leaves, giving her daughter space. The sun begins to dip below the horizon. Downstairs, the dance is about to begin. Beth is glowing, twirling in her dress. Liam takes her hand and they walk into the garden as the music starts. Guests look on, charmed by the innocence and beauty of the moment. But Liam's eyes keep drifting toward the house, hoping, wishing. Then, she appears. Hope stands at the edge of the crowd, her eyes locked on the two people who mean more to her than anything. Something in her expression shifts. Not indecision, not confusion, clarity, the kind that comes when all the pieces finally settle. The music swells. The evening air is crisp. And somewhere in the distance, the rooftop still glows with the light of memory, where the past, the present, and the uncertain future have all come to meet. But even as this day edges toward its close, the story is far from over. Hope's heart may be leaning in one direction, but the consequences of her choice will ripple far and wide. Carter has invested not just in a brand but in a life together. Liam has waited, sometimes patiently, sometimes in pain. Ivy has stirred the embers, but will it reignite the fire? And Beth, sweet, wise Beth, may be the smallest voice, but perhaps the most powerful one of all. Because in the world of the bold and the beautiful, families can break, heal, and reform again. Love never stays quiet for long. And just when it seems everything is falling into place, one moment can change everything. The bold and the beautiful is bracing for a storm. And at the center of it is Taylor Hayes, who's about to find herself entangled in a dangerous triangle involving Deacon Sharp and his unhinged wife, Sheila Carter. What begins as a moment of emotional support could ignite a wildfire of obsession, betrayal, and potential violence as the CBS soap pushes its most unpredictable character back into full villain mode. After weeks of suspicion, confrontation, and tension, Sheila Carter's marriage is in freefall. Her lies have caught up to her, and Deacon, furious, betrayed, and exhausted, is pulling away. The truth about her secret meetings, her manipulations, and especially the betrayal involving Luna Nazawa's family, have shattered the fragile trust they'd built. Sheila had been skating on thin ice for months, walking a tightrope between redemption and relapse. But now the mask has slipped, and Deacon is seeing her for what she truly is, again. Deacon Sharp is no stranger to trouble. He's made plenty of mistakes, burned bridges, and played with fire. But Sheila is a whole different kind of fire, one that doesn't just burn, but consumes. When he realizes just how far Sheila has gone behind his back, the rage is immediate and overwhelming. But this time, instead of confronting it with his usual bravado or diving into more chaos, he does something unexpected. He reaches out to Taylor Hayes. Taylor, a licensed psychiatrist with a complex past of her own, isn't surprised when Deacon shows up at her door. She's dealt with troubled souls before, many of them closer than she would have liked. Her history with Ridge, Brooke, and the Forresters has taught her the cost of emotional entanglement. But still, when Deacon appears, vulnerable, raw, and clearly shaken, she can't turn him away. She listens. She asks questions. She doesn't judge. Deacon talks about the lies, about Sheila's secret rendezvous with dangerous people, about the manipulations she wove around Luna's tragedy, about Dickie, his son, whose reappearance has stirred old guilt and new fears, about the weight of being married to someone like Sheila, someone who, deep down, he knows he never really controlled. Someone he thought he could save, but who's never truly changed. Taylor sees the emotional wreckage, and she connects to it. She's lived through betrayal, been dragged through emotional landmines, and knows the scars it leaves behind. Her professional instincts tell her to maintain distance. But her heart, her humanity, her empathy, pulls her closer. And in that closeness, a flicker of something more begins to ignite. The rumors had been swirling for months, Deacon and Taylor as an unlikely pairing. Fans whispered, spoilers hinted, and now, it's happening. Slowly, subtly, the lines between therapist and confidant begin to blur. Their conversations deepen. They start meeting more often. The air between them changes, no longer just about support, but tension. Chemistry. A sense of what if. But this is the bold and the beautiful. Nothing stays secret. Nothing remains safe. And Sheila Carter is watching. Sheila may be spiraling, but she's not stupid. She knows Deacon. She knows when he's emotionally shifting. And more importantly, she knows the signs of a threat. Taylor Hayes, the good doctor, the woman with grace, control, and emotional authority, is now in her sights. And if history has taught us anything, it's that Sheila doesn't walk away quietly. She doesn't lose. And when she feels cornered, she strikes. Deacon might think he's done with Sheila. He might think walking away and confiding in Taylor is the healthy move. But Sheila isn't going to let go that easily. The rage building inside her is volcanic. Not just because she's been betrayed, but because she sees herself being replaced. It starts with subtle moves. A visit to Taylor under the guise of clearing the air. A tense, loaded conversation. Veiled threats wrapped in smiles. Then the escalation. Sheila begins inserting herself into Taylor's world, showing up unexpectedly, making comments that only Taylor can decipher, crossing boundaries that were never hers to begin with. Taylor starts feeling it, the chill in the air, the sensation of being watched, the unease that comes with knowing someone dangerous is circling. And unlike the others in her past, Sheila isn't just jealous, she's capable of anything. Taylor, once caught in love triangles with emotional stakes, now finds herself in something far more sinister. This isn't just about love. It's about survival. Deacon, torn between fear and guilt, begins to see the danger. He tries to protect Taylor, to push Sheila back. But Sheila grows more unstable with every confrontation. Her behavior swings between desperation and fury. The cracks in her facade deepen. Behind the scenes, Sheila's past begins catching up with her again. Law enforcement eyes her movements. Old enemies re-emerge. Luna's family, seeking justice for what she concealed, begins pressing for consequences. Sheila's carefully constructed illusion of stability unravels. And through it all, Taylor becomes more and more the center of the storm. She doesn't back down. Taylor stands her ground. But she knows she's being hunted, not metaphorically, but literally. Sheila has always crossed lines others wouldn't even approach. She's taken lives, manipulated families, held babies hostage. There are no limits to her madness. The danger grows. Taylor's home is broken into. Her car is tampered with. A note is left, handwritten, cold, unmistakably Sheila's. The warning is clear, he's mine. The Forresters rally around Taylor. Ridge is furious. Brooke is terrified. Even Steffi and Thomas, despite their own turmoil, put aside everything to make sure their mother is safe. Deacon, now fully aware of the hell he's unleashed, tries to intervene. He confronts Sheila again, but it only makes things worse. Sheila snaps. What happens next could change everything. A confrontation brews. Sheila shows up at Taylor's house, uninvited. The final thread of sanity gone. She's armed, not necessarily with a weapon, but with intention. Taylor holds her ground. She doesn't flinch. But she's ready. She's called the police. Ridge and Deacon arrive in time to stop whatever Sheila planned. But the emotional damage is already done. Sheila is arrested, but she smiles as she's taken away. A smile that promises this isn't over. In the aftermath, Taylor and Deacon sit in silence. There are no more words. Just understanding. Shared trauma. A spark that was born out of chaos now burns brighter. But both know it won't be easy. Sheila's shadow will always loom. And though she's behind bars, her legacy of pain lingers like smoke after a fire. Still, something has changed. Taylor, for all her fear, found her strength again. Deacon, for all his mistakes, chose a different path. Together, they stood against a monster. And while the future remains uncertain, one thing is clear, the game has changed. And so have they. But in Los Angeles, nothing stays quiet forever. Sheila Carter never stays caged. And when she returns, and she will, she'll be more dangerous than ever. Because love, in the bold and the beautiful, is never just about hearts. Sometimes, it's about survival. And Taylor Hayes has just stepped into a war that could consume them all.